What's going on, guys? Belair here. The grand finals of the World Championship was 10 days ago. And now that we've had a little bit of time to remove ourselves from it, cooler heads have prevailed. Now we can kind of look back at this without recency bias. It's been a week and a half, and in the RLCS, that is enough time for us to not have recency bias anymore. So we're going to watch all of the games and kind of see what stands out to us. I did rewatch these before we got this going just to get a feel for it, and a couple of things really stood out that I didn't really take away when I was watching this as it was happening. So excited to get into those. We're going to rock with ExotiiK for game one, who is trying to find redemption here back in Fort Worth in Dickey's Arena, going up against Monkey Moon. This was the infamous clash from 2 seasons back, and Monkey Moon and BDS at the time with Extra and Seiko ended up winning it, but ExotiiK is going to show him what's up by putting away this double. Let's look back at this one, and this actually, look at this, he's going to get this little extra injection of energy to kind of get this ball going over Monkey. If we actually watch this from Monkey's point of view, we're going to see him start to float, and he just has no idea that ExotiiK's going to give it that little extra touch, and he's going to absolutely crank that double in to get the scoring opened here, as we're going to get a little bit of a visual glitch there. Let's get back onto ExotiiK rocking the classic yellow and pink anodized Finnick. I'm going to give him a 1 out of 10 for creativity here, but you know what, we'll crank it up to a 3 out of 10 because he does have a boost that we don't see very often with the titanium white streaks there. Now, important to note, I'm sure if you guys remember this, BDS are going to get absolutely bowled over here in game one. And I feel like a big part of it was, what we just saw ExotiiK do there, which was the demos. In this game one here, they're going to lead BDS 8-0 on demos, and they're going to come out on top 11-4 in the shooting category. ExotiiK is going to jump that kind of passing lane, and they look really confident. They also look like they're, in form, which BDS is not, making sense. BDS played a 7-game series against the Falcons in the semis, 20 minutes before this, as ExotiiK is going to get a layup there. And Johnny Boy called it on the cast beforehand, where he said, with the energy of the crowd, G2 might just run away with this. And this game one really seemed like that. 2 goals already, as ExotiiK is going to give up that big boost, and they're going to leak another one here in transition, as Daniel is going to put him up a hat trick. Not really too much to talk about here, but I remember when watching this, just kind of feeling like, like this is just going to be, after we had this incredible weekend, it's all just going to dissipate very quickly here and be a very boring, 4-1 or whatever. Maybe Drawley isn't ready for this. Maybe they're feeling a little bit of some of the the tiredness that comes along with having just played, but we're going to see them turn this around very quickly here. Spoiler alert, BDS are going to win the World Championship. If you guys are watching this video and don't know that, I don't really know how you found your way into this, but sorry to spoil it for you. And 5 here, now it's just, kind of trying to stave off the bleeding and make this a little more respectful. Coming into the corner here, ExotiiK is going to take this one easily, and is just going to carry this one out. And we're going to see over the course of this series where G2 kind of start to show some pretty big cracks, as ExotiiK is just going to oopsie into another demo there. It's kind of the similar thing to what we have seen from Falcons over the course of the season, where G2 are just going to look excellent, look unstoppable. And, then they're just going to slowly, inch by inch, give it up. And we talked about this when we did the recap. It was kind of surprising that G2 even made it to this point. They really could have fallen at a couple of steps over the course of this event before this. I mean, shoot, they end up going 7 with Carmine Core, where they go up 3-0, and then they almost allow Carmine to reverse sweep them until Atau had a couple big blunders that made it pretty hard for Carmine to climb back in that one. Certainly not Atao's fault that they lose that series. They wouldn't have even been able to climb back to a Game 7 without him kind of stepping it up offensively when Carmine Corps were looking really flat to start things off. But, you know, G2 were lucky to get away with their lives in that one. They were lucky to get away with their lives in the Furia series as well, where a couple bounces one direction or another could have put Furia on top. And then, of course, they're going to end up winning it in Game 7 in overtime off just a super silly kickoff. And then it, of course, waterfalls down and Beast Mode is right there to answer when Yan cannot. So G2 kind of skinned their teeth their way here anyways. And, you know, they were pretty fortunate to be in this grand finals. But I guess you kind of make your own luck. And that's how they find themselves here. Now, who are we kind of looking at over the course of this series? Of course, on one end, I have my eyes on Drali, you know, kind of the rookie. It's very impressive that BDS were able to win EWC, and he looked pretty solid there, except for some big moments where I thought he looked very shaky in the grand finals and in the semis for that matter as well. And, you know, you're going to need him to not be the worst player in the series isn't fair, but you're going to need him to not have just a bunch of, you know, too many chokes that give up easy goals the other way. This is not the best way to start, but at least he is at the top of things, as G2 are just going to totally run over BDS to get things started here. Of course, not too much to say here, so let's go over to Game 2 and keep this one rolling. All right, Game 2, ExotiiK POV, our eventual MVP of the tournament in ExotiiK. So happy for him after having, you know, a pretty tumultuous Carmine Corps season. Is tumultuous the right word? I mean, they did win a major, but, you know, it seemed like he really kind of lost faith in himself, and Vatira had seemingly lost a little bit of faith in him as well as they got towards the end of that season, where you really started to see them do what teams do when they start to lose trust in one another, whether it's Rocket League or otherwise, where, you know, communication gets a little tighter, you start to double commit on one another, you don't trust your teammates as much. And this was kind of a redemption season that I did not see coming from BDS. You see Monkey Moon, who, you know, is kind of left to pick up the scraps, is too strong, but, you know, Gentlemates and Carmine Corps and Vitality and all these teams that are kind of finding their strength, and it's like, okay, I guess Monkey Moon is going to team with ExotiiK, and they're going to pick up Drali, who seemed like he was probably a project as a rookie. But no, they did not need to waste any time, and, you know, that's kind of, we'll talk about this more with Drali, but a learning opportunity for me with this whole thing, where, you know, you think about the NBA where it's like, oh, Victor Wembanyama, like, he's so good, but he's a rookie. It's going to take a little bit of time. We haven't seen a rookie do incredibly well, like, at that same level since, like, Magic Johnson. Even LeBron took a couple of seasons to, you know, really get up to form. But in Rocket League, you don't need to wait. And I guess I'm just talking through this point now instead of waiting for Drali. But, you know, we saw it with Oski and Atau. We saw it with Daniel, with Zen, of course, with Scrubkilla back in the day. It does not matter whether or not you have been playing for a while or not. If you have the mechs and you have kind of the stony resolve to show up on the LAN stage, then the world is kind of your oyster. Of course, a couple more examples, Pioneers roster from back in the day when they were Scrub, Locky, and Behead, and then, you know, Team Queso. We'd be remiss to not mention them, aka Moist Esports. Now, we saw at the beginning of Game 1, they of course give up 5 goals quick, BDS that is, and then over the second half, they really kind of tapered it down. They weren't giving up anything too easily, and they ended up not bleeding any more goals. They weren't able to score, but they didn't let G2 just continue to run things up on them. And that's what they're looking to do here as well. I'm sure Casio is in their ear just kind of saying, hey guys, we're going to find our footing here. Let's just kind of make this a little more uncomfortable for G2 and not give them easy looks. Let's not allow them to just, you know, take a ton of shots. BDS over the course of the season have really liked to run it up. They like to take a lot of shots and go high volume, but they saw what G2 were able to do against them when they got into a shootout. So here we are going to see them severely restrict G2's shooting opportunities. And another thing that they're going to do is win the boost battle, especially in the steals category. BDS are going to come out on top here. And I think limiting G2's ability to kind of get out and go and force them to kind of pick their spots and not just choke out BDS in their own box is something that is going to help them out here. ExotiiK with an easy beat over Daniel. Drawley is right there to take it over. Going to pinch this off the backboard. Beast Mode is going to carry this out. And we're going to see it when we watch his point of view a little bit later in the series. But, you know, I was very unimpressed by Beast Mode over the course of this Grand Finals. I know that everybody is going to, you know, as we get removed from this series, we're all going to remember the Atomic whiff. But, you know, I felt like Beast Mode kind of failed them as a #1 option over the course of this, and BDS just saw all 3 of their players clutch up late. Now, this is a big game too, but it's not absolutely critical that they win it. BDS definitely just want to make this one a little more competitive. We're in 7 here, so it's not as dire if you go down 2-0. You, of course, don't want to, but for BDS here, just making it respectable and kind of seeing what G2 are trying to do is probably going to be enough for them. 23 seconds left. We still are scoreless, and is that going to change right here? No, it is not. Drawley is going to commit as a 3rd man. Could have been dangerous. It's getting real scrappy here in the midfield. Atomic has all the space in the world. He's going to go off the backboard. Drawley reads it easily. Daniel tries to get up, and that is ExotiiK clean beating Daniel in the air for the 2nd time in this game. Daniel getting pretty heavy on the touches, maybe a little bit of nerves. Atomic is going to try and transition us all the way across here. Monkey Moon is going to cut that. Daniel is finally going to get redemption on ExotiiK, but we are going to find the floor for overtime. And I honestly, I can't remember if this one is quick or not. I did rewatch this, but then I took a little bit of a break for work. And, oh, of course, this is ExotiiK just going to absolutely laser this one. And he did this in the Swiss as well, if I'm not mistaken. Where he is just going to absolutely launch one from this kind of left side into the box here and find a really tight angle. And this is just huge, right? Like, you, of course, it's not the end of the world, like I said, if you go down 2-0, but you definitely don't want to. ExotiiK is going to take his time and find his line and is just going to even us up. Let's watch this back from a defender's point of view. And we're accidentally going to go back into regulation time here. I think we have Beast Mode in the box, so let's get on to his point of view here. Let's see what they're trying to do on the kickoff. Looks like they're just trying to kill middle. Neither team wants to lose off of a kickoff. Monkey Moon is going to get the glancing blow there and then get the bump. And, you know, that's really interesting because we're going to see this later into the series as well, where Monkey Moon gets a critical bump. Just doing everything that you want him to do. A bump there. G2 are making themselves easy targets. Daniel is going to take a poor 50 there, and the Beast Mode is just going to get totally blocked off of it. A couple of things that I want you to put away in your back pocket there. Daniel getting absolutely crushed on a challenge. Monkey Moon finding a big block as well. So with that in mind, we are evened up. ExotiiK is going to find the MVP here as G2, again, held to only 3 shots. Nobody is able to score. We are all even. Let's go to a critical game 3. Now, in the last game, I kind of, you know, forewarned you about what we would be seeing from Beast Mode later into this series. But that does not mean that arguably the best player in the world, if not one of for sure, doesn't have a great game every now and then. In this game 3, is Beast Mode doing just that. He's not going to be involved in the scoring there to break the stalemate nice and early, but he is going to have a pretty incredible game here. Something that G2 are going to find also throughout this game is more demos. It seems like in the games in which they're able to get really physical, they're kind of winning those. Of course, BDS, it's a little bit different where they're very physical, but it's commonly with bumps as opposed to demos. which sometimes can be just as, if not more, impactful based on, you know, how you're trying to kind of position yourself and whatnot. Sometimes you'll see players who will like go for a demo when the opponent has like no boost in their their offensive box, and it's kind of like, thanks for just giving me a free transition back to my side of the pitch with a little bit of boost. I appreciate it. But let's see who is going to kind of break the stalemate here. We did see G2 getting that goal nice and early, and that is going to be pretty important here. You know, Beast Mode has done a couple of different things over the course of the season. In one version of Beast Mode, very kind of upfield, as we're going to start to get G2 getting a little bit tangled here. The comms aren't quite as clean as you would want, but in one version of Beast Mode, he is kind of leading the charge, very upfield, trying to be physical, just kind of diving at stuff and seeing if he can create chaos. And in another one, he's a lot more, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of picking his spots and a little more calculated. And typically, I've really enjoyed the calculated version of Beast Mode, where it's kind of a group effort by G2. There are some games where they'll just absolutely run people over when they have Beast Mode kind of leading the charge. You know, of course, when they were beating Falcons in London, Beast Mode was kind of going for that, like, I'm ahead of the play, doing my thing kind of deal. But, you know, traditionally speaking, I haven't liked that. And we saw that from Beast Mode in this competition as well, where he's kind of trying to be upfield, doing the, like, apparently Jack kind of thing, where it's like, I'm going to be up here, the banana head kind of thing, like, you guys kind of can handle the defense and then just kind of find me whenever. But I digress, as the score is going to get evened up here, and we find Beast Mode in the back of the play. So what the heck do I know? Beast Mode is going to take this. A little bit of a heavy touch. He's going to give that one up. Is going to find ExotiiK on a demo there in the back, and that's not really going to challenge BDS too much. That one gets away from Beast Mode. He is going to find his way back to it, and a great pass into the middle. He is going to back off of that one. It almost looked like he kind of fat-fingered it and didn't mean to backflip, but Daniel's charging it down, so that's good comms there. Beast Mode up. Great first touch. Is going to stay with this. The second touch is a little bit too heavy. It's going to go across the box, and then he's unable to keep it in play there, and rotates back for boost. Drolly with an excellent catch. Beast Mode with the kill there. Something that he shined with all season. And, you know, we talk about how everyone is so mechanical. Something that I think Beast Mode is the best in the world at is his ceiling challenges. He's just able to meet them with so much consistency and force that really kind of gives G2 a big aerial advantage. Pinches this one into the middle. Nobody's going to overcommit. Monkey Moon has this one in his possession here. Daniel is not going to bite. Great pinch across from Daniel, and Beast Mode is going to absolutely punish BDS here. Let's watch this one back one more time. Monkey Moon is going to accidentally get a nice pass over here, and Drolly unfortunately gets it right over to Daniel, who gets it with so much force and momentum. And Beast Mode, are you kidding me? He just, does he boost through this the entire time? No, it's just perfect. It's routine. One more time. Let's watch this from Monkey Moon's point of view and see what he's seeing here. Monkey Moon is going to have a couple great saves later on, but this is not one of them, as there's not much you can do there. Beast Mode is putting his mark on this one, and just as it seemed like, you know, they were starting to reel things back in, G2 are just going to pour on the scoring yet again. Trying to get fancy here, gets up to this one. That would have been an absolutely insane musty. Unfortunate that it wasn't able to find that one. And this is something that we talked about with G2 way back when we did a video with them earlier this season, where something they did quite a bit in North America was kind of this send one offense, where you will kind of just have one player up. Like here, we see Daniel's in the midfield. But let's see. We'll see it once they're back onto offense, especially. But it's kind of like, okay, beast mode is up, and here is beast mode, and then you see ExotiiK and Daniel are both on the other side of the midway line. ExotiiK is going to go, and then we're going to kind of wait back. Here, beast mode is going to go, and then ExotiiK and Daniel are all the way back, especially in a game like this where they're winning. This is why it's so hard once G2 go up on you to kind of claw it back, because all three are so good at like getting back and playing transition defense that it's kind of hard to beat them over the top or break them down when they're only sending one. It's very rare that they're going to overcommit, but beast mode really going to put a stamp on this one. A goal, 4 saves on 2 shots. They have answered back in a huge way. Let's see if they are able to pull away here in game 4. All right, these next 3 videos are why we are doing this video in the first place. There's so many great players out there. It's hard to rank them. You will always have great arguments with like, oh, actually, like, I can't believe you think this player is better than this player, because at the end of the day, like, it is pretty subjective, like who you think is good, what you value. Like, is Joyo super mechy stuff really important to you, or is like who's another example on the other side, like you know, Rise being able to you know, kind of maintain the midfield and, you know, strike with consistency. Like, what is more important to you? And something that will always be important is Drali just absolutely styling in a huge game that they absolutely must win here. Off the ceiling is going to double it down, and then with just every little bit of boost he had, tuck that one in over the top of Daniel. Drali is not afraid. And that goes for all 3 of these BDS players who, over the next 3 games, are each going to absolutely shine in their own ways. We're going to start off with ExotiiK here, who is just going to hit a couple massive shots and just show this level of calmness that, you know, sometimes when you look at ExotiiK on like the face cams, like a big moment can happen and he's kind of just not gonna react, especially if it's like something in the negative where he gets scored on or kind of, you know, embarrassed defensively or anything like that. Like ExotiiK, you're not gonna see him show a lot of emotion, and sometimes it can seem like a hater would say like, oh, that's like tone deaf, like you kind of need to be more emotional and responsive to what is happening. But the alternative side of that, if you're going to be positive like I am, is to say that like ExotiiK is just stoic in a similar way to Seiko, who, you know, showed a little bit of cracks over the course of this event. Especially, oh my goodness, excuse me, down the stretch against Oxygen. Let's watch this one back. Do you remember when I told you guys to table Monkey Moon getting a big bump? Well, watch this. Monkey Moon here on the side is going to collect. Beast Mode's going to beat him. Now Monkey Moon is down in the box. Huge bump on Daniel. ExotiiK doesn't anticipate it at all. ExotiiK has this glued to his hood where he goes for, you know, the finger roll layup. And I'm sorry for going back so far. But let's watch this from ExotiiK point of view, who we accidentally skipped. Here he is. So ExotiiK is going to find his way into the box here. 60 boost, pretty good. He just has no idea that ExotiiK is going to be able to carry that one right onto his forehead there for a huge goal. All right, no more hopping around. Let's get back onto ExotiiK. But yeah, ExotiiK is going to end up winning the MVP. Well deserved by him. You know, he kind of popped up onto the radar, actually onto my radar, excuse me, at this exact stadium when he was on Semper Esports with the legend Shawset45 and his now coach Casio, and they really surprised. They went 3-0 in the wild card stage, and then unfortunately COVID kind of cut their opportunity short, as that was on target from ExotiiK. But you can see that now BDS have kind of stabilized. ExotiiK with an easy one there. What on earth was Daniel doing on the backboard to catch that one? Very fortunate that didn't end up being a goal. ExotiiK is not worried about this attack from G2. He's yawning on defense just like I am. What are you doing, Belair? Lock in. Gonna catch up to this one. Gonna try and punt this one down. Again, just trying to stretch G2. Make them use boost. BDS are winning the boost stealing advantage over the course of this entire series. And it's important when you get Daniel to kind of go up and waste, 70 boosts or something like that. You get beast mode to go up and waste boost there. And now you're stuck in a corner with nothing. Beast mode is going to way overcommit there. It ends up working out. Somehow ExotiiK gets a demo there. And let's see how BDS are able to break out. Daniel with another heavy touch that gets away from him. Luckily, nobody from BDS is going to go. And Daniel's going to move this to the other side of the pitch. Beast mode better be careful here. ExotiiK is behind him. Luckily for Beast mode, he has no boost. ExotiiK off the ceiling, great catch, first touch, uses that hood of his Fennec to kind of get the beat there on Daniel. ExotiiK trying to work it out of the corner here. Beast mode tries to track this one down, but ExotiiK is going to cut that one out easily. And this is kind of just getting end to end. Neither team wants to break. Neither one can set up solid offense. They're both just kind of trading, your turn, my turn offense here. ExotiiK's going to get up to try and challenge that one. Is going to get a fake there on ExotiiK. Not going to be his first fake of this game. Daniel is going to whiff there. ExotiiK is going to try and crank this one in. I don't really know if that was the optimal shot there from ExotiiK when all three were in the net from BDS, but I see the vision. Huge whiff from ExotiiK. ExotiiK's going to take over. Pardon me, beast mode. Good try on the demo. And, that is just taking advantage exactly when you need to. This really all is going to kind of start here from Daniel whiffing here midair. He's going to get the beat there. Daniel has the opportunity and is just going to totally die on this one. ExotiiK is going to call off Drali, who listens immediately. And then ExotiiK, we got to watch it back one more time. Look at this little micro fake that he's going to get on beast mode. This could have gone totally different if he didn't totally stop and start there. And then with every bit of boost he has, is going to put that one away. And that is kind of the dagger here on G2. Unbelievable play from ExotiiK. ExotiiK has a chance. Heavy first touch. ExotiiK is going to totally beat him out there. ExotiiK tries to drop it down. Monkey Moon is wise to it. And all BDS got to do is kind of wind down the clock here. Beast mode with the catch. Going to get called out. Monkey Moon's going to move it over to the side. And then look at this. Beast mode's got to try something. Tries to stretch. Here's a gimme to Monkey Moon. Thank you for the goal earlier, sir. And that is going to sink G2 here in Game 4 as ExotiiK. 2 goals, an assist that we just saw at the end there. 2 saves. Doing it all for Team BDS in a huge game. Let's move over to 5 and see if they can keep this momentum going. Game 5. 3-1 score after G2 come out and absolutely demolish BDS in that Game 1. Since then, it has been all French, and G2 really need this one. They need this one bad. If you go down and have to kind of really climb back from BDS, who have all this momentum after a couple of huge wins where it seems like all of their players are firing on all cylinders, that is going to be a tall task. Monkey Moon is going to safely guide that one away there. And this is the Monkey Moon game. This is why many, myself included, consider him the greatest player of the modern RLCS era. I guess that's kind of, post Season X. Monkey Moon is just a winner. And this game is going to kind of cement a little bit why that is. He's going to get this one out here. And then watch this. The pre-flip save. I cannot believe he got over to this one. Is going to get the beat there. And then is going to get the 50 there. And just totally take on all 3 members of G2 to kind of keep us even here. You don't want to let G2 get going. We have seen them really kind of show that if they can score in bunches, they can get going. They're feeling a little shaky here. You don't want to let them back into the series, and Monkey Moon is going to make sure of it. So I'm going to try and not do this too much, but I am going to pause here. Well, let's actually watch this one back. Where does this play start to develop? It's actually off of a huge miss. And let's get over to a player who I had said let us down a little bit earlier in this series before he had a massive game 3. Beast Mode is going to whiff on this play, which, you know, now we see Daniel trying to go for a force clear there, kind of a panic clear. ExotiiK can't get over to it quick enough. Beast Mode completely whiffing there makes his teammates have to totally change their momentum and try and scramble back into the play. It just puts them in a tough spot. They end up, you know, giving up a goal there. We now see Beast Mode trying to, you know, find some demos. It's been working for them over the course of this series. And, you know, that's something that we see in the NBA too. It's a common adage where if you're not able to get it going offensively, at least try and play physical defense or something like that. When we see Beast Mode, you know, trying to do something, but he's going to have another small thing. And hindsight is 20/20, but I feel like he kind of gives up this goal as well. At least gives up giving himself an opportunity defensively. Right here, why would you not turn the opposite direction into this to kind of give yourself a little bit of space to make a play on this defensively? If you were to go left, you know that BDS are super close to this. If you go left, and of course, this is like, okay, belleair, can you please move on? But like taking this wide turn, you just have no chance of getting to this, and it's going to end up being 2-0. And, you know, of course, it's super easy to say after the fact, like, oh, you should have gone the other direction. Like, I know more about Rocket League than Beast Mode. Obviously, that's not true, but I feel like it's small stuff like that that are going to end up biting G2 here. And, you know, let's get back over to Monkey Moon point of view, and we'll try and spotlight other players when needed. Monkey Moon with the fake here is going to have send Daniel absolutely flying past the ball. A give up by Daniel there. Monkey Moon's just going to stay on this with 0. He's going to get physical with ExotiiK here. Just, you know, doing all the little things. And we didn't watch back the goal from earlier, but Monkey Moon, like, no directional air roll, just like pops it absolutely down. And again, I don't want to be like a stickler for this stuff, but like, let's look at this from G2 defensively, right? So Monkey Moon's in the corner. Look at all the space. ExotiiK's rotating back. Beast Mode isn't going to go. ExotiiK doesn't go. Beast Mode's going to steal the corner boost as well, and then it just rolls in. Like, G2 are starting to fall apart at the seams here defensively, where you just can't let easy stuff like that go past you, especially against BDS, who now have all the momentum in this series. Back over to Monkey, who almost gets to this one. G2 are thanking their lucky stars that they get a kickoff goal. Otherwise, this one could have got real ugly real quick. Not that it's not already looking bad. So I actually, I was driving home during Championship Sunday, so I actually turned off all my notifications. I ended up watching this series at like 11 o'clock at night once I made it back. And I was just blown away by Monkey Moon hitting stuff like this, where it's just like, that's why he's the best, man. He's like Tim Duncan. Like, it's not fancy. It's just exactly what you need it to be. Look at this, where somebody else might directional air roll into this and try and slot it. Monkey Moon's just going to feather the boost, hit it with the corner of his hood, and just throw that one top right. And G2 are really up against it here. They got to get something big here quick. Monkey Moon's not going to bite. He knows they have the lead. Daniel is going to flick that one into the stratosphere. Hanging around here. Daniel goes for another flick. It's going to go off. And then Beast Mode is going to take this one off the post. I rewatched it. I won't put you guys through it again. He had full boost. Maybe he could have got around it, but, you know, that's just kind of these big land moments. And then this one is just going to float in here for G2. It is not looking good. On the face cams, you know, it's total silence, where you might see some other teams being like, you know, That's something that I've always really appreciated about like gentlemates. Like even if they're down, they're gonna be like, all right, let's go, like we got this. And you know, G2 are just totally isolatory in their approach right now, not calming super well, not really seeming like they are feeling very confident. They are going to get this one to kind of float in, but again, both of G2's goals here, while all of BDS's seemed like they were kind of, you know, earned in some form or fashion. BDS had a kickoff goal that went their way, and then they kind of, you know, just mashed that one into the back of the net through a couple of pretty fortunate challenges. A skim here by Monkey Moon is going to send us the other direction, and this one's already over. You know, you're just trying to not let anything go in to give up momentum one direction or another. You know, Monkey Moon, I feel like as we get into the waning seconds here, deserves all the credit that he has received, especially recently. Just the ability to win with so many different rosters and be a mainstay where we see a lot of players really not be viable best players in the world for more than a couple of seasons. It kind of seemed like, you know, for a second, Vatira was going to be like, no one, how could you possibly be better than Vatira? Like, he's literally just so good. He's just going to win for as long as he wants. And then the same goes for Zen, of course. But Monkey Moon, farther senior, has been around for quite a while, and did not kind of have his moment in the light with, you know, the original days BDS. He has continued to put it together with multiple rosters, as here he is just going to absolutely stuff the stat sheet. 768 to his name, Savior medal, 2 assists, 2 goals. Monkey Moon has put G2 up against the ropes here, and we're going to see Drali take the final swing. I worry about rookies in big moments like this, especially ones who don't have a lot of LAN experience. Luckily, Drali got LAN experience in spades in his inaugural season here. Was able to make it to EWC, made it to both the LANs, unless I'm a complete goof and I'm forgetting, like, Bellaire, actually, they didn't make it to Copenhagen because they I think they made all of them. There's a lot to keep up with the RLCS, but I think I'm good enough for that. Drali is going to get up early here and get beat over the top by ExotiiK, but there's going to be a couple just super heads-up plays here from the Moroccan that are going to make the difference on Neo Tokyo. Am I wrong in saying that Neo Tokyo typically produces the best games? Like, I understand that Champions Field is like the spot, you know, it's like game 7, so much pressure, yada yada. But like, I feel like Neo Tokyo, there's just some absolute bangers. Like, if you were to go back in history and rank like the top 50 RLCS matches of all time, I wonder how many of them are on Neo Tokyo. Drali takes a very dangerous cut into the corner there. It ends up not biting them. It's going to be interesting to see the meta evolve in the RLCS and like what people are trying to do where. I feel like there's going to be a lot of development around like how to attack and defend your own corners. Now it seems like people are just kind of like, all right, get this out of here. Like, what are we doing? But like those cuts where you're like hooking it out with speed, we see a lot of times where players will kind of take those too high, and then a defender will undercut it and end up just pinching it directly into the net. Yeah, just, you know, these are shower thoughts with belleair. These are things I think about. Here begins the heads-up play. As, gosh, I watched this one back so many times. We're probably going to watch this one 4 times, I'll be honest with you. Drali's going to get up, chip ExotiiK, who has no boost, cannot get back down to this. The boost spawns perfectly for Drali, and he's going to put it away. Now, let's watch this from Daniel's point of view, who tries to pass this over to Beast Mode, but Beast Mode goes for the opposing corner. Oh, excuse me, this is ExotiiK, ExotiiK tries to pass it to Beast Mode, who goes for the opposing corner, and so it's just an easy turnover. Daniel here, remember when I told you to 50, Daniel getting absolutely crushed on a 50? There's another one where he goes bottom of his car here. It would have made a lot of sense if he would have known that ExotiiK got bumped, but, you know, this is where the comms kind of break down, and what you thought was a teammate pass directly to your teammate, rather, ends up being something directly into Drali's wheelhouse. And then finally, Beast Mode is going to whiff here, decides to not go for this one, isn't going to get the boost, is going to go around ExotiiK to give him a totally free ball. I don't understand what G2 are trying to do here. All right, back on a Drolly. Is going to take a poor 50, and Beast Mode's going to answer. Now, if you're keeping tabs, the last, we'll call it 3 goals, at least 2 of 3 that G2 have scored have been kickoffs. They haven't been able to get anything going on the offensive end as far as like transitions or set, or they've only scored off, I guess, set plays. Jolly's going to get up to this one, is going to get beat, doesn't matter. Monkey Moon is back. A beat here. Daniel's going to heavy touch this one. Drolly is going to stretch over to it. And that's something that Drolly was doing throughout this series. Kind of being able to, I'm going to pre-jump this and just kind of float and make something out of this. A huge take off of ExotiiK's hood there. Beast Mode is going to allow this one to get taken off of him. Daniel here. Another great flick. Daniel, probably one of the best flickers. There's got to be a better term than that. But his flicks are super deadly. Drolly with a ton of space. No one from G2 is going to contest this. Almost forces this one in, although Daniel is able to get the double save there. And again, G2 are just not looking very good here at all. Daniel is going to catch, though. Get it over the top of ExotiiK. Drolly is going to easily send this one away and then get the dunk there on Beast Mode. And here we go, transitioning out. Another great comm there between Drolly and ExotiiK, who trust each other. Beast Mode with the catch here. Ooh, almost a great flick there. That's, that's why if you're going to make the argument for Beast Mode, I'll hold that thought. Here's Drolly with so much space, he doesn't know what to do with it. Gets the flick over the top, and just nobody goes. All this space. Drolly can do whatever he wants. He's going to take this one up. We see Daniel, who decides to go for the corner boost. I think Johnny Boy watched this one back as well, and he kind of commented on this. Maybe you stay in the play, but also you have no boost. Maybe you kind of trust your teammates. Beast Mode is full. So is ExotiiK, but Drolly is just going to lay one over the top of him. Huge moment here. Drolly scores yet again. Gets the pinch away. Isn't going to allow G2 to get anything easy there. Him and ExotiiK are going to calm that one well. Drolly is going to just get out of dodge here. Gets over, grabs that boost. Daniel, this cut was so disgusting. Somebody in the comments, I don't know how many people are going to make it, this far into a 50-minute video, but he did that earlier in the season in a big moment. I think it was the London Major. Daniel really loves that right to left in the box fake. I don't know if he scored it, but that's not the first time that Daniel has done that exact same fake on a LAN this season. Drolly, easy beat, takes this one over to the corner. Another dead ball 50 here. Keeping this one in the box. It's even, but you want to make this as difficult as possible for G2. Drolly up to read that one perfectly. Beast Mode is barely going to get back to this one and keep it out of his own net. Drolly wins this boost battle in the corner. ExotiiK's going to give this one away. Drolly is right there for it. Just tries to keep this one up. Get G2 to waste some boost. Try and get him to panic. I like that idea. You don't necessarily have to go for the shot. You can death by 1,000 cuts him, and eventually it's going to do that and pay off for you. That, unfortunately, is going to be what this series is remembered for, is ExotiiK whiffing right there. But in the same way that First Killer gets remembered for whiffing against Carmine Core, or AJG whiffing as a member of Complexity. Was that against Vitality? I think it was. ExotiiK is unfortunately going to regret that one for probably the rest of his career. Although I don't think that it was totally on him. It's not as though G2 were winning this and like, oh, ExotiiK missed that and now we lose. He did have a terrible Game 6 here as far as score goes. Score doesn't tell the whole tale, but what it does tell is Drolly going for a hat trick to close out winning a world championship. Just unbelievable stuff from Drali. I feel so silly for doubting him in BDS for making this move before the season, but they are crowned champions of the world yet again. ExotiiK MVP honors deserved. Drali almost certainly going to be Rookie of the Year, I would assume, if they even do that award. And Monkey Moon kind of solidifies himself as being one of the best in the world. Now, one last thing. I know this video is already super long. BDS are obvious locks. They're going to keep this roster and run it back. You're world champions. I have kind of been thinking about G2 as like an obvious lock as well. They made every grand finals. Why would you break that up? If I were a betting man, which I'm not, I would bet for them to stick as well. Clearly, this trio have done exceptionally well, but we've seen teams break up for sillier things. So I'll be shocked if G2 make a move, but it also won't be the first time that a team who definitely should have stuck together have decided to break it up. I, of course, think about Moist Esports and Vatira hopping ship there. So that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to tag along with us and rewatch the grand finals. It is time for me to go make and eat some dinner. I hope you are having a great day or evening. And as always, thank you so much. And until next time, guys, take it easy.